In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you should approach big commits like this, for example. And let me show you what I've got here. So I've got this huge factory environment, and let me show you how it looks like. So this is the thumbnail. You can get this project from Unreal Engine's marketplace, and the content folder itself is huge. Just the content folder itself is 9.3 gigabytes in size, so that is pretty big, especially when you're using Git with Unreal Engine. But anyway, I'm going to show you how you can deal with things like this, because most often if you try to commit 9.3 gigabytes in one try, chances are that it's probably going to fail when it's trying to push the changes, all right? So this is a pretty standard scenario when you are creating new repositories and you are trying to push the initial commit. But anyway, let me show you how to do with this. I'm going to close the project and I'm going to open source tree. And here's my repo in source tree. And here are all the files from the content folder and some additional files and folders, and I'm going to stage all. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to force this thing to fail its push because it's too big. I'm 99.99% sure that this is going to fail just because the push itself is so big. And then I'm going to show you how you can reset the reset the commit. And then I'm going to show you after that how to do the initial commit properly when you are dealing with these kind of sizes. As you can see, even the staging process takes a lot of time based on the size. All right, the staging process is completed, and now I'm going to write a message. Initial commit. All right, and now I'm going to press commit. That's done, and now I'm going to open git bash and write git push and press enter and wait until it's done, and it is either going to complete the whole push process successfully, or most probably it's going to just fail. And then, as I said, after that I'm going to show you what to do afterwards. All right, as we can see, what happened is just like I said, the push has failed to complete, but the commit is stored locally. And if I was to try to do git push again, I will be denied. No, actually, I won't be denied, but the same thing will happen over and over again. And you can try as many times as you want. The result is always going to be the same. You will always have something like RPC failed and some kind of error. And now I'm going to stop this. Okay. All right. So first things first, we have to undo our commit in order to create another one. So let's proceed, and I'm going to open git bash, and I have to reset the commit, and the command for that is git reset. Make sure to type in correctly, small letters git, space, small letters reset, then space, head, capitals head, and then tilde key, and 1, and press enter. All right, now let's go back to source tree. And now we can see that the commit is reset. We have this initial commit that's not the same like we did. And our files are now back under unstaged. And now we are basically pushed back in time. And how I like to approach things when it comes to initial commits is somewhat like this. So I like to push all the things that are not under content folder. And let me show you in tree view. So we have our config folder, we have content folder, and we have our .u project file. So I would push everything except content folder. All right, let's stage. And we can switch back to flat list. Right. So as I said, everything except content folder is staged. And now let's write a message. I like to add this extra dash and write core files so that I know that these are core files, everything except content folder. All right, let's click on commit and git push. And now this one should be very quick. And after, yeah, just like I said, and after that, yep, everything is good. All right, now I have to make a plan how I want to proceed because I have to split the push in multiple parts because it will fail all over again because it's just too big. All right, so I think I can now come back to tree view. And let's say, for example, I'm going to add these files, blueprints, and let's see if it's gonna allow me. Yeah, okay, it's working. So yeah, source tree doesn't allow you sometimes to just right click and add on folders, but if that doesn't work, you can just drag and drop them inside staged files section, just like this. So what I'm basically doing now is I'm trying to pack as many things as I can in order to save some time and some effort, while also trying to make the group of the things large. And I don't want to push more than like 1 to 2 gigabytes at a time. So what I've selected is, I think, roughly around a few hundred megabytes. So we should be safe. And I can also pick a few more sequences. Textures are probably the biggest offender and the biggest folder, so I'm going to avoid them for the moment. And the third person, I think, is fine. And the maps are big, probably. Materials, big, starter content. All right, let's proceed like this. Initial commit, and I'm going to write #2 for number 2, and I'm going to add the things that I've pushed, or actually initial commit content 1. Let's do it like this. And third person folder, sequences. I'm basically typing the names of folders that I'm about to push, and audio. So third person, sequences, FX, blueprints, and audio. All right, let's click on commit just like before and open terminal and type in git push small letters and enter. This one should be fairly quick as well. That's what I'm expecting, but let's see. If you make a mistake and select files that are too big again, just repeat the process. Do the git reset head and then come back to source tree, select smaller group of files, and then push again. All right, our commit has been pushed successfully, and now it's a matter of repeating things again a few times. And now let's pick starter content, meshes, materials, and I think we should be safe if we select maps as well. And now let's wait a few seconds for the files to be staged. And when it comes to textures folder, content, textures. So we can see that textures folder itself is around 6 gigabytes. So that's definitely the biggest offender of all of them. And we are probably going to have to split textures folder in multiple commits as well. But anyway, we are gonna tackle that later. For the moment, let's proceed with pushing new batch of folders. And let's have some kind of standard when it comes to naming convention of our commits. And we can go back to history, select the text, right click and copy and paste. And now let's type this like commit number 2. And let's just change the list of folders that we are pushing. So dash starter content, and then dash space meshes, dash space materials, dash space maps. By the way, as you can see, our maps are only going to be pushed, but their build data files are not going to be pushed. Why? Because our git ignore file is ignoring that build data file extension. So that's why. All right, we got the message done. We can click on commit and open terminal again. We can close the old one. And it's a matter of typing in git space push and pressing enter and wait a few minutes for the commit to be pushed to our repo. And now we can see the push process of our second content folder commit is just about to be finished. I think that only a few seconds are left until the process completion. And done. Now we have these warnings that are saying that our files, some of our files are fairly big, bigger than 50 megabytes. So it's letting us know that we should consider using Git large file storage, or LFS as it's known. But as long as we don't push any files that are bigger than 100 megabytes, we should be safe. Anyway, the only thing left, although it's fairly big when it comes to gigabytes, the only thing left is to push the textures folder. And let's refresh our source tree. And yes, we can see commit is in, and now it's a matter of pushing textures folder as well. So let's open this one in Explorer and go to content and textures. And now for things like this, something like an app that is showing us the size of folders in tree view would be nice, something like tree size or some other third-party app. But anyway, we can do it manually. We can see that our UI folder is fairly small, just 29 kilobytes. We can stage that immediately. Okay. And now let's see for the rest. Let's select by names, because that's how it's going to be displayed for us in source tree. And we can select a bunch of them. $567 megabytes, so we can go more aggressive. And let's try something like this up until we reach the E letter. Right click and properties, 2 gigabytes. That's questionable. Let's go more conservative. Let's go up until D letter. Right click and properties. 186. I'm not sure about this. Let's go up until C letter. Okay, let's do like this up until C, letter C. Okay. Now, let's go from the bottom. We can select more of them, actually. Let's go more aggressive. So up until crane. All right, stage selected. Press OK and write another message. Initial commit. This one is going to be number 3. Textures folder part 1. We can control all and control C in order to copy this and keep this in a clipboard so we can save ourselves some time. Open terminal and git push again and wait, and then repeat the process again. All right, this one is finished as well. And let's proceed. Maybe we could try to be more aggressive now. And it doesn't matter, even if it fails, we can still do git reset head and repeat the process. All right, let's write our push message. Textures folder, textures folder. Oh my god, 2 typos. Textures folder part 4. Actually, it's part 2, and the content folder is number 4. Commit, git push, and wait. As I said, if it fails, we can always open our terminal, do git reset head, and push smaller bunch of files. Okay, our push has failed, and it doesn't matter, not a big problem. We can do git reset head and tilde key and type in 1, and now we can close the terminal. Our history is going to be reset, that's right. And now I'm going to select a smaller bunch of files and do the process again. Hopefully this time everything is gonna be all right. And it can be tedious in the beginning until you get some experience and get the feeling about what's gonna fail, what's gonna be all right. But it's not a big problem in my opinion. And let's write commit message, content 4, textures folder part 2. And this one is going to be much quicker. All right, and now the 5th push has completed, and we have to continue and repeat the process a few more times. And the last part of our initial commit has just completed, and let's check out the results. And let's go to history. All right, now we have no new files, no new changes to be staged or committed. And looking at the history tab, we can see that our initial commit now has 13 or actually 14 parts in total. Well, it's not a pretty thing by any stretch, but hey, at least now you can start developing just like normal. And that's it. This is how you deal with large pushes, especially at the start of your project. So to recap, if your repository at the start or your push is meant to be bigger than about 1.5 gigabytes, that's approximate estimate when you should be fine. So if it's going to be bigger than 1.5 gigabytes, then just split it in smaller parts. And it's kind of tricky how should you write your commit messages and your commit comments. But hey, that's one thing that is kind of negative when it comes to this technique. But hey, at least it's working. And as I said, you can now continue developing on your project. And luckily, situations like this don't happen often. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to leave your comments and share this video with other people. Don't forget to press like and subscribe buttons, it means a lot to us. Also, if you're interested to get to know us better, check out our website at valsogard.com. And again, thank you for watching and see you soon.